Hey bitches and bros and non-binary hoes. Welcome to my This isn't actually my first video, it's a remake of the one I uploaded a few months ago. In my opinion, it was so messed up and the editing sucked, so after overthinking it during a long time I decided to rewrite it and make another video. Anyways. My name here is sk8, but you can call me Ko. You can use any pronouns, so feel free to use them if you wanna talk with me or comment something. I would like for you to know that English is not my first language, so I apologize in advance for any typos and/or misspellings. Please take that into account. This is a renga, reki x langa, fanfic. I do not own any of the characters, all credits to the sk8 the Infinity creator. I tried to portrait the characters properly, but I probably messed up, so I apologize for that too. This is all pure fiction, so don't take it seriously. If ships like this trigger you, please don't watch the video or at least don't leave mean comments. Without any further ado, let's get on with the video. I've been thinking about this for a while. I don't know when it started or when I started feeling like this, but I guess it just happened. I think, I may, slightly not so slightly, have a crush on Langa Hasegawa. And not only a tiny crush, I have completely fallen in love with him, and I think this is indeed a big problem. At first, I didn't want to make a big deal out of it and I thought it would stop eventually, but it has only gotten bigger. Everything he says or does seems perfect. Every smile, every look and every single part of his body makes me go insane. Even though we recently had an argument which lasted almost a week, after all those days trying to avoid him, this blue-haired boy started living inside my head rent-free, even though I definitely did not allow him in. All my friends say I should confess my feelings to him, but I'm not sure about it. We made a promise, skating together infinitely. Would all of my feelings make Langa want to stay away from me and break our promise? I would never forgive myself if that was the case. If he is the one confessing, I wouldn't deny the offer, honestly. But that would never happen, right? Reki was beyond a mess of feelings. He was overwhelmed by his own thoughts and he had no idea of how to handle himself. He woke up, more like got up from his bed since he didn't sleep at all. It was a Monday morning, which meant he had to go to school. His phone suddenly rang while he was changing into his school uniform. I'm at our spot. Reki grinned down at the phone screen and finished changing as fast as he could, not without sending a "be there in 5" message before. He took his bag and skateboard, thanked his mother for the bento she prepared him and rushed outside. Good morning, Reki. The blue-haired boy said with a sweet grin on his face and a soft tone of voice. Reki's name somehow sounded a lot different in Langa's voice. It felt like a soft musical note in the ginger's ears, at least from his "I'm in love with my best friend" point of view. Good morning. The ginger's smile grew as he extended his hand to greet the other boy, properly. This proper greeting was their handshake, of course, with their personal infinite symbol at the end, something Reki was very proud of. He kept staring at their hands, connected together, perfectly fitting each other. Infinite. Reki. Shit. I zoned out. Maybe he should have slept more. Have you been getting enough sleep lately? Is there something bothering you? Are you okay? You know that we can always talk about it, right? Ah yeah, there he is, carrying Langa. He had been acting like that since the last and only fight they had, which wasn't an actual fight, just a little misunderstanding from both sides and a phase indeed needed for both of them to grow, not only as skaters but as people. In this argument, Reki distanced himself, not only from skate but from his friends and, with that, from Langa. Part of the problem, or most of it, was thanks to the ginger not knowing how to express his feelings and to the blue-haired boy not knowing how to read the environment. From then on, and after a long talk with Joe, Langa has noticed every little thing and worries about whatever seems off to him. Not that Reki is complaining though, in fact, he is more than okay with it. Cute. He thinks as he searches in his mind for the right answer. Oh, sorry, I zoned out, don't worry. Let's get going before it's late. He smiled brightly at him as a bonus, and that was enough to make the look on Langa's face turn from worried to a soft grin filled with love. Reki blushed at that, which made the Canadian almost melt. Let's go then. With that, they both rode their skateboards down the street till they reached school. They entered the latter, not without any complaints from the teachers about how dangerous skating was and how they shouldn't be doing it at school. Seriously, what's their deal? Langa said, sick of the everyday comment. They are just throwing their daily tantrum, as you see they need to complain about everything, don't worry about it. Yeah, that was. In the end the boys couldn't really bring themselves to care about other people's opinion, not in the slightest. The boys entered the building and made their way to class. As soon as they arrived they were approached by the rest of the students. You two are lucky sensei is late, said some random brunette girl. Thank goodness, Reki said, breathing a sigh of relief. Yeah, it wouldn't be nice to be listening to the head teacher ranting about how problematic we are for a whole hour again, said Langa. He actually did that. lmao. The conversation continued as usual until the teacher finally arrived and started unpacking his material, showering the students with apologies and excuses about why he was late as he did so. Then, soon enough, the actual lesson finally started. I don't know what's wrong with me today, do I need help? Do I really need my beauty sleep that bad? I can't even listen to what the teacher is saying. I am lost in his face, where was I again? In class. But his eyes, the way he is resting his head in his hand, his bored expression and oh. Did he just yawn? That's so fucking cute, oh my god. I can just die right here, he could kill me and I'd thank Gh𝐤𝐤𝐞. Was that my name I heard? Reki gh𝐤𝐤𝐞. Huh. Is someone calling? Reki. The blue-haired boy said the ginger's name with a confused yet worried expression. Ah, there he is, worrying again. I feel kinda dizzy though. Reki wasn't paying much attention to what was actually happening around him. He had stayed up all night confused about his newfound feelings, so he decided to fight his anxiousness by skating at 3 a.m. Today he was exhausted. I swear to God, gh𝐤𝐤𝐞, the teacher's voice was cut off by the guy next to him. I'll take him home, he's definitely not feeling okay, he said confidently, making his Canadian accent come out a bit. But if someone's sick they must stay at home and rest, right sensei? I mean yeah. We'll be going then. Thank. Langa grabbed his and Reki's things and carried the still zoned out boy out of the school. How did I end up like this? I was in class, but now I'm in Langa's arms. He took a deep breath, capturing on purpose the blue-haired boy's scent, making the latter's heart skip a beat. This is comfy. He buried his head in Langa's jacket and, without realizing, he fell asleep. Langa arrived at Reki's house, took off his shoes and left their bags and skates on the floor before making his way to the ginger's room. He laid him down carefully and tucked him in his bed. The blue-haired boy kneeled down so that he could take a closer look of Reki's face, observing every facial feature of his as worry took control of his thoughts. What the hell happened to him? He asked himself over and over again. I swear to God, if someone hurt him, I'm going to make them regret being alive. As soon as he realized he said that line out loud, he covered his mouth with his hand. Thank God he is asleep. Then, he registered what he actually said and his nose flinched when realization hit him. The hell am I thinking? He turned his gaze to the floor. Langa Hasegawa, calm down, for the love of God. With that he left the room, closing the door behind him, and made his way to the kitchen to prepare the ginger soup. The sleepy boy woke up 1 hour later. As soon as he opened his eyes he started wondering how on earth he ended up in his bed. Without giving him any more thinking time, Langa walked in with a marvelous smelling soup bowl. Reki. Good to see you awake. Here. He gently placed the bowl on the night table and pulled a spoon out of his pocket. Meanwhile, the ginger was still out of it, trying to guess what happened but getting distracted whenever he looked at the other boy. Open your mouth, say ah. Langa said as he drowned the spoon inside the bowl and then guided it to the other's mouth. Ah. Reki opened his mouth and Langa fed him the soup. Very well, sunshine. I am definitely dreaming. The ginger was beyond amused by the scene, and even more by the sudden nickname. The soup seemed to be the best one he had ever tasted. He was extra comfy in his bed and he was being fed by his crush. Yep. Definitely a dream. He smiled to himself and continued eating happily. You sure woke up in a good mood, didn't you? Thanks for the soup, love. Langa's heart skipped a beat as his cheeks turned to a shade of red. Reki looked up at the blushing mess in front of him, his grin growing as he contemplated the situation carefully, totally convinced it was all a dream. Love Tilda. Didn't you just call me sunshine, big boy? The blue-haired boy's eyes widened. Since when was Reki this bold? He decided to leave the topic for another moment and change to the important matter to him. Sure. Reki, what was that in class? Reki wasn't expecting that question, but he did his best to try to guess what Langa was referring to. Soon enough, he realized, again, that if he was dreaming that meant he was asleep, and if that was the case, he must have fallen asleep in class. Oh. You mean me falling asleep in class? I wouldn't exactly call it falling asleep, but yeah, let's go with that. Well, funny story, I realized I was in love with you and stuff, so I wasn't able to sleep even if I tried, so I decided to go out and skate at 3 in the morning. That's why I am currently sleeping. Langa tried to process what Reki told him. His brain gave up at this point and he was running out of words to answer with. Sleep. He's awake, isn't he? In love with me? Skating at 3 a.m., what the hell? After a whole panicking session, which Reki seemed to be more than aware of, the Canadian managed to finally say something. Do you think you're dreaming right now? Yeah, don't worry about it though. But how on earth could I not? Shish, are you not going to ask about the me loving you part? Wow, Langa thought. Maybe I'm the one dreaming. I would rather not talk about it while you think I'm not real. OWW, what a shame. This is my dream, you big boy, so I claim for you to talk about it now. He pulled out a playful smirk, still totally convinced it was all a dream. He gave up. Oh, of course I get. Why not, anyway, Langa thought. He thinks this is all a dream after all. But he couldn't help but feel guilty of confessing while Reki wasn't aware of the actual situation, plus he felt like he was taking advantage of his sincerity at the moment. From his point of view, Reki was basically opening his feelings to him without noticing. Go on, how do you feel about me loving you? You should feel lucky right now, big boy. I will never confess to the real Langa because I'm too much of a coward and I'm scared of ruining what we have. Langa felt a tear running down his face. He didn't really care about it, no, not about the tear. He closed his eyes, repeating inside his head Reki's words over and over again. His feelings weren't one-sided. He wasn't the only one, he wasn't alone, he'd never been and he will never be. Oh God, please don't tell me this is actually a nightmare and you're rejecting me right now. Is it that bad for me to confess? Oh my lord, please don't cry. Reki. Don't. This isn't a nightmare. This isn't an actual dream to begin with, but we'll get over that later. I love you too, and I feel the same. Since the very beginning. God, I'm so happy, can I hug you? Why yeah, of course. Langa quickly put down the spoon on the table and jumped into Reki's arms, hugging him tightly, muttering things like, I love you so much, or, I'm so happy. Ah, you big baby. I really hoped all of this was real, he said, wrapping his arms around the latter's body. It is. Yeah, big boy, it is for you, don't let your pretty little face worry about that. Langa sighed and the ginger spoke again. I must get going though, I really hope I could stay, but the Langa I love is in the real world, probably bored without me being noisy at class. I understand. The Canadian boy buried his head deeper into Reki's chest. You know, if you keep doing that I won't be able to leave. Sorry, Can I give you a goodbye kiss? Ah, of course. Come here, big. The blue-haired lifted his head to look at Reki, the ginger's smile hiding a bit of pain, Langa noticed. He carefully leaned forward, making the space between their lips shorter every second. Halfway, he stopped moving to change his direction, his lips now almost touching the boy's ear. Reki could feel the Canadian's shaking breath in his neck, and this made him tense. After 10 seconds, which felt like centuries, the blue-haired boy spoke. Sleep now, you'll realize this was all real once you wake up. He pulled back and re-tucked Reki in his bed. He pressed a kiss on the latter's forehead and left the room, closing the door behind him and leaving a confused mess of a Japanese teenager alone in the bedroom. Although, only for you to know, Langa was actually freaking out on the other side of the door, wondering where was all that courage from and how the hell was he supposed to approach the ginger now. Dash. 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 The end. Alright people, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the story as much as me writing it. Subscribe, I guess. I'm not sure if I will make more videos, but if I see people like this, I guess I'll keep it up. Don't forget to leave your feedback in the comment section, it would be very useful for me.